So, after the disaster of their latest movie, Magical Mystery Tour, they're like, hey, let's make a new movie. And they did. It's called Yellow Submarine. And of course, with every movie they do, they always have to have a soundtrack, which is also an album. And this is their worst album. And while they were making that movie, they went to India to write new songs and to study and do stuff with this guy. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name, but none of them stayed for the entire trip. Then Paul and John did an interview and they announced their new company, Apple Corps. But it looks like Apple Corps. And the first album they released on that label was their new album, The Beatles, aka the White Album. Yay! I would say this is their most experimental album ever. Like, not just yet, just ever. Because there's just so many different songs. It's very different. Most of them are just completely different from each other. And they have possibly one of the worst songs ever. Revolution 9. Yeah, the song's just okay. But while recording this album, everyone just hated each other. Everyone thought every song by another bandmate was just awful. Like, even Ringo left. Like, bro, you made Ringo mad. Then in January of 1969, they started to rehearse some new songs for a TV documentary and to play live. But if you want more depth into that stuff, just watch the Let It Be documentary. Actually, no, watch the Get Back series. It's awesome. Just watch it. It's awesome, bro. But in short, they were struggling until they got Billy Preston. Then they played on the rooftop. And I'm going to be George Harrison on the rooftop for Halloween. Hopefully this comes before Halloween. But yeah, after that, they just scrapped the entire idea. Just put everything on the shelf. Just forget about it. Until 1970, but it's still 1969, you dinguses. Then in February, they decided to make some new songs and call the album Everest. Yeah, that was the original name, shut up. But eventually, they renamed it to Abbey Road. Yeah, I think this is their best album, shut up. But at the time, this album had mixed reviews. I don't really know why. People were just stupid back then, I guess. But little before the album came out, John said he was leaving the band, and that was it. John just left. Then in March, they got Phil Spector to redo the Get Back sections. But then the Beatles broke up. And of course, their next album came out a month later. You know, it's reasonable, you know. And all the screaming girls from 1964 were sad. They started crying everywhere all around the world. Like, shut up. But then again, all the Beatles have very successful solo careers, and they were at least popular without the Beatles. And that brings the end to this series. Yeah, I liked it. It was very fun, bro. I liked it. No, goodbye.
Peace and love, peace and love.